At the beginning of the story, we hear a weather report on the radio. It warns that a cyclone is approaching quickly, and everyone is advised to stay safe in their homes. Then we're introduced to one of the key characters of the story, the one responsible for setting everything into motion. His name is John Gavineau. He has a plan to build a safari park, and for that, he needs a tiger. So he comes to a man named Sharif to buy one. John shows Sharif the license to keep a tiger. Looking at the caged animal, John says, "This doesn't look like a circus or someone's pet tiger. To tame and train it, I'll have to spend a lot of effort and money. I can't pay you more than $5,000 for it." In response, Sharif says, "You think this is a house cat? Just a few days ago, this tiger picked its favorite target among 11 horses and killed it in a second. You have no idea how vicious this beast can be." Despite their heated argument, John eventually buys the tiger. Meanwhile, we are introduced to the main characters of the story, Kelly and her younger brother, Tom. Tom was mentally challenged, possibly autistic. John, the man who bought the tiger, was their stepfather. A few days ago, their mother committed suicide. It becomes clear that John is not a good man. It was because of him that Kelly's mother took her own life. Kelly had brought Tom to a special hospital because during her college hours, she needed someone to take care of him. But when she went to pay the admission fee, she discovered that her bank account had no money. When she called the bank, she learned that her father had withdrawn the money. Meanwhile, John instructed his workers to prepare for the upcoming hurricane. During this, one of the workers put his hand near the tiger's cage, and the tiger struck his finger. John immediately sent him to the doctor. The other workers began boarding up windows and doors from the outside as part of the hurricane preparations. A little later, Kelly came and asked John why he had withdrawn the money from her bank account. John replied, "After your mother died, I had the right to the money, so I took it." Kelly said, "Whatever happened, happened, but please return the remaining money." John told her that all the money had already been spent and he had nothing left to give her. Though Kelly was angry, there was nothing she could do. Heartbroken, she went to prepare food for her brother. At that moment, her professor called to inform her that if she didn't attend this semester's exams, she wouldn't receive the scholarship money. Kelly tried to explain her difficult situation, but the professor replied that there was nothing he could do. Kelly had nothing more to say, so she hung up and went to sleep. In the meantime, an unknown person was seen releasing the caged tiger into the house. Kelly, in deep sleep, had a disturbing dream. She was trying to kill Tom. When she woke up, she realized her mental state was deteriorating. Her thoughts were becoming strange and frightening. She then went to the kitchen to get cold water from the fridge. As she stood up, she heard a rustling noise. That's when she noticed her father's tiger was roaming freely inside the house. Terrified, Kelly ran straight to her room and locked the door. She tried to escape through the window, but to her horror, she discovered it had been boarded up from the outside. She couldn't figure out what to do in such a situation. Then she remembered the telephone. Slowly and cautiously, she opened the door and reached for the phone placed nearby. But when she tried to call someone, she found the line was dead. That's when she remembered Tom. She carefully went to his room, but Tom wasn't there. Searching for him, she returned to the kitchen. There, she spotted her mobile phone. She quickly dialed the emergency helpline, but due to the ongoing hurricane, there was no response. She tried calling John, but he had left his phone in the car and had gone to a bar to drink. Suddenly, Kelly noticed the shadow of the tiger. It was heading toward her. She sprinted back to her room and started breaking the wooden boards blocking her window. The sound drew the tiger to her door, and it began banging against it, trying to get in. Kelly realized the door wouldn't hold much longer. With no other option, she climbed into a chimney pipe inside the room, hoping to hide. Just as she got inside, the tiger broke through the door. Kelly struggled to stay wedged inside the narrow, vertical pipe. It was excruciating to remain in that position, but she knew falling now meant death. The tiger prowled just beneath her, sensing her scent circling around. Meanwhile, Kelly was in a terrible state. She kept slipping and had to fight to stay in place. It was like being stuck like a spider, something a human body couldn't endure for long. Blood flow to her hands started to weaken, and soon, her limbs began to go numb. Kelly's phone had fallen just beneath her. Suddenly, it started ringing. The tiger, startled by the sound, pounced and smashed the phone. Kelly was overwhelmed with fear and exhaustion. Just then, a single drop of sweat fell from her body. The tiger, sensing the smell, came closer. It looked up and saw her. It lunged to attack. Kelly tried her best to stay high up in the pipe, but the tiger's claws were nearly reaching her legs. With every ounce of strength, she pulled herself up through the chimney and reached the upper room, where she found Tom. Without wasting a second, Kelly took Tom to another room and tried contacting someone through Facebook, but there was no network. Just then, the tiger's roar echoed again, this time right outside the door. In a panic, Kelly grabbed a nearby bottle of perfume and sprayed it all around, then quickly hid under the bed with Tom. The tiger smashed through the door and entered the room, growling and sniffing the air in search of them. Eventually, it noticed them and went into attack. Since they were under the bed, the tiger flipped the entire bed over. They were pinned beside it, but fortunately, there was another door to an adjacent room. They somehow managed to open it and escape again. Kelly suddenly had an idea. She mixed sleeping pills into some raw meat and scattered it around the house. Then, she attempted to climb up into the attic, but that space too was completely blocked. At that moment, hearing the tiger's approach, Kelly ran to Tom and locked the door. But she knew it wouldn't hold for long. The tiger would break it down any second. With no other option, they hid in a small space inside the room. They could see the tiger entering the room, sniffing the air, try to locate them by scent. Kelly and Tom were frozen in fear. Death itself was walking just a few feet away from them. What could be worse than that? The tiger slowly crept closer. Kelly and Tom could sense if they wanted to live, they had to act now. Kelly grabbed a piece of iron she had in her hand and began striking the wooden wall behind her, trying to break through. Meanwhile, the tiger, roaring fiercely, smashed the door and lunged at them. Kelly and Tom scrambled to the other side of the room just in time, but in the chaos, Kelly's leg got severely cut. Barely hanging on to life, they reached another room. Kelly quickly wrapped her wound with a cloth to stop the bleeding. That's when her eyes landed on some papers on the floor. To her shock, she discovered that her stepfather had been trying to sell the house. Seeing that shattered her even more. But then, she remembered this room had a pistol. After searching frantically, she finally found both the pistol and some bullets. For the first time, a flicker of courage sparked inside her. If the tiger came at her now, she could fight back. Meanwhile, the tiger entered the room, slowly approaching the meat pieces Kelly had laced with sleeping pills. It ate them, but nothing happened. The tiger moved deeper inside. Kelly stood just behind, pistol in hand, ready. But the moment she came face to face with the tiger, fear took over and she ran. She fired several shots, but none of them hit the tiger. Kelly ran into the dining room. The tiger followed close behind. She hid under the table as the tiger entered and began sniffing around. Quietly, Kelly crawled out and moved toward the kitchen. But the tiger saw her again and began chasing her. Using various tricks and quick thinking, Kelly managed to escape the kitchen and reach the storeroom. She began trying to break the boards nailed over the exit. Meanwhile, the tiger slammed into the storeroom door, breaking half of it in a single blow. With all her strength, Kelly tried to pry the boards open. That's when she spotted an iron rod nearby. Using it, she finally managed to break the boards, and just before the tiger could reach her, she escaped outside. It was raining heavily, with violent winds howling through the air. Kelly ran to the car for safety. But as soon as she sat inside, she remembered Tom. He was her brother. She couldn't leave him behind to die. Gathering all her courage, Kelly turned back and ran into the house again. She began searching for Tom cautiously. After some time, she finally found him. Kelly said, "I'm so sorry, Tom. I completely forgot about you. You're my only brother, the only family I have left in this world. I will never leave you again. Come on. We have to get out of here." Kelly then used some cloth and oil nearby to make a torch. Fire would give them some protection, as wild animals are afraid of flames. She also took the pistol with her. Together, they began carefully making their way out. But suddenly, the tiger leapt down from above and attacked them. Kelly raised the torch just in time, and the tiger hesitated, afraid of the fire. Standing face to face with the tiger, Kelly raised the pistol and fired. The bullet grazed the tiger's head. She and Tom slowly began backing away, the tiger following closely, but not attacking, afraid of the fire in Kelly's hand. Kelly and Tom quietly moved into another room where they found a large freezer. Kelly told Tom to get inside. Once he was in, she quickly climbed in too, just before the tiger could attack. The next morning, Kelly was awakened by the faint sound of drilling. We see John removing the boards from the front door and entering the house. Kelly and Tom slowly climbed out of the freezer and spotted John at the entrance. Kelly pleaded with him to let them go. At that moment, John revealed a dark truth. Kelly's mother had wanted to leave him, so he killed her and made it look like a suicide. After her death, he removed both Kelly and Tom from the life insurance policy and admitted that he had brought the tiger into the house, intending for it to kill them. Kelly said nothing in response. Her silence spoke louder than any words. Suddenly, the tiger leaped out and attacked John. Kelly and Tom stood there, watching, but they felt no remorse. This man had taken so much from them, almost their lives. And just like that, they walked out. They were free now. Today felt like a new beginning, a second chance at life.